Hello and welcome to another Ef2000 Tactcom Let's Play video. Today we're going to go into the simulator and blow up a bridge. So let's get going. Let's do this! So we're going to be accompanied by some Cobra helicopters to help us take out the surface-to-air missiles and ground forces. We're going to check our loadout, so let's clear the loadout. First off, we're going to choose some fuel. We just have one fuel tank and one set of laser guided bombs. The heaviest ones, the GB-16s, which are 700 pounds. We're going to have some medium range missiles and some short range missiles. We're not going to have the Ef2000 missiles because we want to be focusing our energies on attacking the bridge and not getting involved with any air-to-air combat, because we'll just be too heavily loaded and we won't be able to maneuver. Okay, so here we are at the airport, and if we press shift and S, we can jump straight to our takeoff time and straight to our runway. So we're going to throttle up, 100% throttle, and use our afterburners to take off because we're so heavy with all our fuel and bombs. And we're airborne. Put our undercarriage up as well. And we've got the luxury of 3 extra wingmen. Okay, if we press shift and M together, we can get the mini map up and the radar and the DASS defensive systems. The mini map's in the top right hand corner of the screen, which shows our waypoints, and in the bottom left hand corner we've got the radar, and the bottom right hand corner is our defensive systems. So we're just going to head towards waypoint 2, which is about 65 degrees on our map, on our compass, sorry. And we can see our wingmen as well, fully loaded out. If you press shift and S together, you can get to the smart view, you can jump around and see what's flying around in the area. So there's a R767, a refueler jumbo. We won't need to use that, but it's useful to know if we need it.
Start 3, go. 2, spike.
So if we press shift and S, we can skip to the next part.
3, spike.
And we're on our way to waypoint 3, which is about 59 miles away.
2, spike.
There's an enemy Su-27 in the area, so we're just going to throttle up and gain a bit of altitude. And let's hope he can't see us. The Eurofighter does have some stealth capabilities, so it's hard to detect on enemy radar. And here we can see the Cobras in the area making their way to the target zone, as we were told in the briefing. Now on the mini map we can see the enemy airplane and it's turned away, so maybe it hasn't seen us. Oh, it's turning around now. It was faking it, and they've launched a missile at us as well. Not at us specifically, but at one of our wingmen. So we're just going to tell everyone to activate their electronic countermeasures. And our wingman's been hit as well, unfortunately. Press E on the keyboard, we can activate our electronic countermeasures to ward off any enemy radar locks. So we're going to have to turn around and fight this fighter. It's a bit strange having a lone fighter flying around. And we're going to tell our wingmen to engage as well. We can't seem to get a lock on this guy. I think he's been taken out.
Engaging. Music.
Oh, he's much closer than I thought, so there he is. We're going to launch a missile as well. He's already had a missile on him because there's a cross going through his box, but we're going to launch anyway.
Guns, guns, guns.
And our wingman's using his cannon on him. Now on our mini map, it shows he's still in the air. You can tell by the red little marker.
Guns, guns, guns.
And he's on our tail. So if we press F2, we can see where he is, and then put our nose towards him and we can launch a missile at him. He has been hit because there's smoke trailing from, he's been finished off by our fourth wingman. So we can disengage and continue on our way. It wasn't ideal because we were carrying heavy bombs, so we wouldn't be the most manoeuvrable of fighters. But 4 of us against 1 plane should have been no match. It was unfortunate we lost one of our wingmen though. Okay, so we go back to air to ground mode. It'll tell us our next waypoint. I had my air brake up, so let's put that down. Now if you press shift and S you can skip to the next part, but there's still some enemy fighters in the area so we can't skip. I'm using the smart view to see what's around as well. Apart from those Cobras, there is some Mi-26 enemy transport helicopters. We're not going to attack them until our main target has been taken out. So we're just going to go at full throttle and get to our main target as soon as possible. You press shift and W, you can skip to the next waypoint, so I'm going to go straight to the target waypoint, which is at the 5th waypoint, and according to our HUD is about 80 miles away. If you press shift and T together you can speed up time. We'll have a quick fuel check as well, got plenty of fuel, and we're flying across the sea here. Now we see in our mini map on the top right hand screen a big red triangle, and that's where our main target is, the bridge that we've got to take out with our laser guided bombs. Now there are other enemy fighters on those on the mini map there, but they don't seem to be giving us any trouble. We can tell this by not hearing a whirling sound showing that there's a radar lock on us. So we're just going to fly low and straight to get there. If we have a look on the smart view, we can see these Cobras.
Music.
And they're heading towards into the target area. There's a MiG-27 also. And it says on the smart view in the top right hand corner, it says event BVR, which means beyond visual range combat, so they're attacking something. It isn't us, I don't think. So if we remain low and fast, we're going to get to the target area without a problem. If you fly too high, then you can get flak from the anti-aircraft guns. So if you rain low and fast, they won't be able to target you. Now we're about 17 miles away from the target area, and we want to start to get ready with our laser designator to point a laser at the target area so the guided bomb can follow it down. And there's the target. If we press T, or you can do so with the mouse on one of the multifunction displays, the middle one, and then click field of view track and lays and fire the bomb off. And it's making its way to the bridge. If you press F8, you'll get the missile view, or bomb view as it is in this case. So it's only a matter of time. As long as you fly straight and level, the laser will still point at it. So if you suddenly do a loop or a very hard bank, it might break the lock. So it's very important, until that bomb hits the target, you fly straight and level.
Music.
I can hear other bombs going off. There he goes. Perfect. Target destroyed, return to base. If we look behind us, we can see a plume of smoke and a small fire. So we've done enough to go home now.
Autopilot disengaged.
Now there is an airplane, an enemy airplane, just ahead of us when we turn around. So let's see what it is in a minute. It says shoot, shoot. Oh, it's a transport plane. So as it's on the way back home, we could just launch a missile at it. There it goes. We're being attacked by the enemy flak. See, if you lose concentration or get distracted, then you can be in a bad position very quickly. Well, the transport plane's been taken out, but we've taken some damage from the flak, so that is the problem. By being distracted.
Music.
So we're just going to go back low again. We're going to lose some altitude. And now we can see there's some red warning lights. So we've got some damage to our engines and some damage to our life support systems. So we're just going to fly away as fast as we can. Press Shift and T to speed up time.
4 weapons gone.
Our wingmen have now launched all their bombs, so they'll be heading back home as soon as well with us.
For music.
Some flashes of light. So all we need to do is just take this plane home now. Now once you bomb the target, you need to press Shift and W to advance to the next waypoint. Otherwise it will just stay on that waypoint. Now we've got another problem. Something else has gone. Some more damage. So if we go to the multifunction display, press systems, we can see what's the problem. So there it is. We've got to slow down and reduce altitude, so that's what we've done. So we've just got to limp back home. So to waypoint 6 is about 100 miles. So you can see that mile counting down. Next to that is the direction we've got to go in. So we've got to head in at a bearing of 263 degrees, And it's going to take about 8 minutes or just under now to get there at this current speed. The cross in the HUD display shows exactly where we've got to go, and at the top of the compass you can see the marker where we've got to aim as well, to line up. So we're just going to press Shift T to speed up time, and occasionally press Shift and S to skip if we can, but it won't let us skip because we're under threat for some reason. There's either an enemy fighter nearby or our plane isn't fit to skip. So we're going to press Shift and W again to move straight to the landing waypoint. There's no need to go the full loop round, we'll just cut the corner and go straight there. Okay. I've just got some time to say they're not making any flight simulators like this anymore, combat ones anyway, because there is some thought that these were too realistic, and the RAF and other military forces were using this to train their pilots. So when these sort of games were released in the 90s, like as long as others like Falcon 4.0 and Ef2000 Total Air War, they were really realistic, and once you bought these games you had like 300 pages of manuals to read through, and everything was simulated to a very accurate level. Nowadays you buy a flight simulator and it turns out to be more like an arcade game. So well, I don't think we're going to see flight simulators to this level of realism for a long time. Either the Ministry of Defence have stopped them, or it just isn't profitable. Not many people like playing it. They want to these days play things like Angry Birds or Call of Duty, which only takes 5 minutes to jump in and play. Whereas games like these take a good few days to get good at it. Okay, we're about 13 miles away from the runway, and we're just going to ask permission to land. You press I, you'll activate the ILS landing HUD. Now we're still quite heavy, so because we've got some fuel and we've got our ground bombs, our laser guided bombs, so instead of going straight down to 61% thrust, we're going to go to 72% thrust and aim to land about 160 knots on the runway rather than 140 that we were doing before. Now we're under 300 knots now using our air brake, and we put our undercarriage down by pressing G. Air brake is extended or retracted using the B button. Now we're going to fly right angles to the runway. So the trick is to fly slightly away from the runway and then turn into it, rather than fly straight at it and then correct at the end. So we're just going to check on the outside, make sure our undercarriage is down. It's also marked on the HUD by the 3 letters DDD at the bottom middle of the HUD. There's a picture of the plane there in the HUD as well, so you want to just have a feel where that is. If it's dropping away fast, that means you're just dropping out of the air, so you just need to cheat a bit and use the afterburners like I'm doing now to get our speed back up again. Now we're just going to turn gently. You don't need to overcorrect, because when you're in the ILS landing mode it will center itself automatically. So you just need to try and glide down and use that picture of the plane in the middle to glide through those landing boxes. Oh, we've left our TLD laser designator on, so we'll turn that off. On the right hand side of the HUD is the vertical speed indicator. You want to keep that between 0 and -20, as we are here. because if it's at maximum -20, we could be dropping much faster than it's shown on the HUD, and that's pretty dangerous. So we're just going to gradually glide in. We're about 150 knots now. That's it. And once you're over the runway, lift your nose up, and that is a good landing. Now you can press Alt and B to deploy the parachute, but because we've landed pretty much at the start of the runway, you don't need to do that. Now if you press W as well, you can apply the brakes and throttle down to 61%, the lower setting. And we're coming to a standstill. I'm not going to taxi to the hangar, I'm just going to turn off here just to keep this video short and sweet. And then when you turn the engines off, it will come up with the mission complete message. Mission successful. We're back home. If you press the left bracket and the right bracket, it will turn the engines off, and there we have it. I hope that was useful and you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.